it's your girl Ligé, and I am back with episode 2 of Life with Ligé. I know it's been a minute, and I'm saying y'all the whole spiel. I've been back. I've been gone. I'm back now. We know this. I don't want to say I regret it because I don't. I was going through something personal, so I needed that long 5 month break, okay? But I'm back and I'm better, and we're gonna be consistent with it. Dropping an episode every week from here on out, so no more looking for me. I'm here. I'm back. You don't have to search any longer. Well, we're just gonna get straight into it. This episode's topic will be mental health, just the overall umbrella of mental health. What is mental health? Textbook definition: it is a person's condition with regard to their psychological and emotional well-being. And this is extremely important because it affects your life in so many ways. It's important in every stage of life, from a child to a young adult to a teenager to grown people, It's important because mental health actually affects the way that we think, feel, and act. It also affects how we handle stress, how we relate to others, the choices that we make, and even it goes down to like our productivity. That's why it's so important to kind of know where you are mentally and to take care of it if you're not okay. With that being said, I'm just going to go into my mental health a little bit. It's all over the place, okay? Yeah. So this is all things that I don't want to necessarily say things that I've been through, but these are all things that I kind of can relate to, and I did dig and do research on these facts that I have for you guys today. So it's not all my opinion there, but a lot of the things I do resonate with because I be tripping. I don't even be tripping. I be tripping, but it's not like a bad thing. I don't want y'all to take it as mental health. It's a bad thing, something wrong with me, but something may be wrong with you, but that don't mean it's a bad thing, That's why me personally, I want to go get a psychological evaluation, which I'll talk a little bit more about later on in the video. But one of the things you need to do, one of the things I saw on TikTok that you should do before getting a psychological evaluation is go ahead and take some tests, kind of see what they might self-diagnose you with, things like that. Not saying it's 100% accurate because a test is just a test. They'll tell you before you read it, it's a test. You might exhibit symptoms. That don't mean that you have it. But yeah, and if you resonate with any of those things that you kind of got results for, go ahead and look those things up and go through the symptoms. Write down the symptoms that you experience, and even sometimes, like I took some tests, and some of the things that I got back, I'm like, nah, once I did further research on it, I'm like, I don't think so. So, it could just be what I feel like a lot of things are, they have the same symptoms. So they may be diagnosed the same, but they're not the same. I found that out about a lot of the testing, things that the test said that I had. And your girl screws is loose though. I'm gonna tell you that. Maybe I might drop a gem here or there about the results that I got back. What did I get back? What did I say I had? But yeah, that's a good way to kind of see where you are mentally. And I'm gonna list the 3 different websites that I use. One of the websites had like a bunch of different tests that I took, a whole bunch of individual tests, and some of them are like you take one test and it kind of groups it up like that. So it all depends on your preferences. Me personally, I took everything on the site because except for things that I like clearly couldn't resonate with, like certain things, okay, I don't really need to take that. I would definitely take a look into that. But yeah, my mental health, I'm a little rocky, and that's okay. And admittance is the first step. No, what's the word? Acknowledgement. What's the word? Agreeing. Acknowledging. I don't know. Just saying that you know. It has to be acknowledging. I don't want to use the word. Anyways, just saying, recognizing that you are going through something is the first step. And you never know. You might be running around with ADHD. You don't know. There are some ways to, kind of identify if your mental health is in a better state, like if you're doing pretty good, and some of those ways are like you understand that fluctuations in your mood and stuff is normal. Like you're not going to be happy 100% of the time, but you also know that those feelings are not permanent. That's a good sign that your head is on straight, your screws aren't loose there. Another way to kind of recognize that your mental health is kind of in a good standing is you can cope with things properly. So you can deal with daily stresses and things like that and still continue to remain productive. Like me, I go to sleep. I get sleepy and I go to sleep when I cope. I can't do that in the middle of a work day. So, it's not really that healthy. You could say no to people. Saying no to people is extremely important for protecting your boundaries and your peace and things like that. So, saying no, like you feeling comfortable, standing up for yourself, and you learned that saying no to people violating your personal boundaries is okay. Like, that. I had a problem for a long time where I did everything for everybody. Anything anybody asked me, I was like, okay, I'll do it. It was like my best friend to tell you to this day, it's like crazy how I used to act. She was like, you need to get it together. I got it together though, because I'm quick to say, get somebody else to do it. And if I do that, just be all right. Because if I say no, that I really needed to say no. If it's a personal thing, I still say no. It's okay. It's me. I can say no. I can say no. Yeah. And I feel good about it. Period. So those are a few ways that you can kind of know that you're in a good standing with your mental health. Some ways that you can kind of recognize if your mental health needs some work. These, and like I said, everything that I'm saying today is from research, and it doesn't apply to everybody. And just because something applies to you doesn't mean that you have something going on either. That doesn't mean that it's always a problem there. That could just be you. But it is important to recognize if that is you, or are you really do you really need some help? So it's for you to differentiate, okay? I am not Dr. Phil. I am not Ayana. I do not fix nobody's life. I'm just here to do some research for y'all, so y'all don't have to do it. But also, I would still recommend doing your own, because you can dig into specific details of like, oh, why am I feeling like this? Don't Google, they make you feel like you're dying and you need to go to the hospital when you have a paper cut. So I'm going to need y'all to dig a little deeper. Don't just go to the Google results, Dig deep, look at some different articles, multiple things. What are you seeing most common? Okay. Then go to the doctor, see if they agree. Because don't self-diagnose yourself 100%. Period. Some ways to know that your mental health may need some work. Number one is you feel completely irritable, like a lot. You get aggravated by the easiest things, like the slightest thing makes you mad. Like with me, I get mad because this might be something else. I don't know. I just hate when people chew. I shouldn't hear you chew. Like, don't chew too loud, or I'm going to say something. I just can't help it. That's kind of one thing that I get irritated about. What else? When people breathe the wrong way. Yeah. I get irritated over little things. But no, like, seriously, like, you can't even walk out your room without getting irritated. And people don't be doing nothing to you. That's kind of a sign. Yeah. When it's you and it's not them, that's kind of a sign. Yeah. Get that looked into. Another way that you can kind of identify is if you have problems sleeping. So a lot of people don't know that when you sleep a lot of the time, like you can go to sleep anytime and you always feel tired, even if you just woke up. This is called hypersomnia. A lot of people that know me know that I have to have this. I have to. I would sleep anywhere, everywhere. It don't matter. That's my favorite coping mechanism is sleeping, and it's not healthy. So, yeah, take note of that. But the more popular one that everybody know is insomnia, where basically you can't get sleep. You're always up, or just having trouble sleeping at all. That's insomnia there. That may be a sign as well. So another thing is feeling disconnected from reality. This basically is like you feel like you're watching yourself from outside of your body, and you have a sense that things around you aren't really real, and you're basically, I don't know if it's called dissociating. I think that's a different term for something else. Don't quote me on that. But basically, like, you feel like you're watching yourself from outside of your body. Like, this is not real. Like you're watching a movie or something, That's kind of how I look at it. Another thing is you isolate yourself quite a lot. Like, you just want to be by yourself all the time. Not because you're a loner or anything. Some people are just loners, but like, you once used to be so interactive with people, and you once used to always be around people and do things with people, and now you just don't want nobody even thinking about you. Just leave me alone in my bubble. Another thing is you may have problems concentrating. So even if someone is speaking directly to you in your face, saying, your name and everything, you kind of have a problem concentrating on them. You'll be thinking about 1,000 other different things. So now when recognizing these problems, when should I consider an evaluation? You may be asking. When do I know that I need to do that? These are some reasons that you may want to consider getting a psychological evaluation. One is you notice that there's marked changes in your personality, your eating, and your sleeping patterns. Like, they change drastically. Maybe you're overeating, under-eating. Maybe you're getting too much sleep, not sleeping enough. Maybe you're just not the person that you used to be at all for no apparent reason, like just out of nowhere, kind of. A strong feeling of disconnection or not wanting to participate in normal activities. You have excessive anxiety. You feeling constant sadness, depression, and things like that. Excessive mood swings is another one. You have excessive anger, hostility, or violent behavior. You might want to be like, okay, what's really cracking? And they'll really get down to the bottom of it. So, yeah, it's good. And the last two are extremely important to me, and signs that I feel like are 100% like a sign that you need to go ahead and get that evaluation or just get some help in general. One is substance abuse. And let's talk about it. Let me break this down for y'all. Substance abuse is not just cocaine and crack and heroin and things like that. Do y'all know that y'all can abuse weed? Did y'all know that? Oh, okay. I say this because some people are using weed to mask their problems and to deal with their problems. And then there's some people that use it for recreational use because they like to fucking smoke. Okay, yeah, there's a difference. So if you like to smoke, you like to smoke. If you're smoking because you can't deal with anything unless you smoke, you can't eat without smoking, you can't think without smoking, yeah, it's kind of like substance abuse. But y'all don't want to talk about that. This is Life with Ligé, where we get comfortable with uncomfortable topics, okay? And that is an uncomfortable topic for most of y'all. Not for me, because I don't smoke, but most of y'all uncomfortable. So we're going to ruffle some feathers with that one, but it's okay. I ain't worried about it. I always wanted to smoke. This one is 100% my number one reason that you should get a psychological evaluation. And coming from somebody who's been there and somebody who has felt this way, if you have thoughts about suicide or harming yourself, that is 100% a reason to go ahead and get a psychological evaluation. We go through things. Life is tough. So always get that help when you need it, because if you don't, it can end really bad. And that's a sensitive topic for me. So we'll talk about that more in depth. That is something that if I'm talking about it, I want to talk about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and move forward, because I can get into that all day. So a psychiatrist is a person who will actually go ahead and administer the psychological evaluation. And how I've been trying to find a psychiatrist is I've gone through my insurance. This is just my personal way. I didn't really research ways on how to do that. I can do that as well, but you can also look up some ways how to find a psychiatrist yourself. But the easiest way for me is I have an insurance app, and I could go ahead and go on that insurance app and find doctors near me. You could go ahead and find doctors that way. You could filter the type of doctors you want. You can even go down to like gender, race, things like that. Kind of get someone that's right for you. It's not easy finding a psychiatrist. So, that is that. But I go through my insurance and look at that app, look at the different psychiatrists near me, and see who has openings. Now, psychiatrists have a wait. The first person I called told me in January, the beginning of January. I started calling in the beginning of January, literally like the second week. They told me that the wait list was, he wasn't accepting new patients until August of this year. So let that sink in. That's not everybody. Some people just weren't accepting new clients and things like that. So since the waits are so long like that, what I plan on doing is the first person that can get me in and actually get me an evaluation, I'm going to go ahead and accept that, because I personally, I don't know if this is 100% true, because, you know, I haven't never been to psychiatrist, but I feel like, you know, the psychological evaluation is it's an evaluation. So you'll get your results. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the first person that can give me a psychological evaluation. I'm going to go ahead and let them evaluate me. Then when I get those results back, I'm going to go and find someone that specializes in those things. If I am diagnosed with anything, I will get someone that specializes in the specific diagnosed mental illness, and then they can go ahead and work with me there. And from there, it'll kind of be like a hunting game, because just because they specialize in it doesn't mean that they're going to be for you. I've heard that psychiatrists are, you have this, let me get you a prescription type of people. So some psychiatrists may be pushy on the pills. If you don't want to do that, you can always find someone who isn't. Looking at the reviews for some of the psychiatrists on my insurance, you know, I've seen some people like, they were pushing pills on me, but I've also seen people that be like, if you say you don't want pills, they'll find another way for you. So, yeah, so if you're not a pill person, don't be alarmed in getting a psychological evaluation. You don't have to take anything, so you'll be good. But I do recommend psychological evaluations just to get at least the diagnosis. I would also recommend getting multiple opinions. Nothing wrong with that. If you feel like something that came back isn't really you, you can go ahead and get a second look. No problem. But with that being said, this concludes the second episode of Life with Ligé, where we get comfortable with uncomfortable topics. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys take the knowledge that I gave here today and just apply it to your life. If it applies. If it don't apply it. Don't make it apply. But, you know, see if you need help. Take that time out to see what's going on with you. See if you're okay. Until next time, you guys have a great life. Enjoy yourself. And I'll be back next week with episode 3 of Life with Ligé.